Today, we're going to talk about rent versus ownership of a home. So, when you think about this, there are a lot of questions you have to ask yourself. I've been a renter before. Um, I've I'm also a homeowner now. Um, let's talk about the questions that you want to ask yourself when you talk about renting versus own. I know it's the house with the picket fence. We all dream about those things, and you want to think through several things. The first thing you want to think about is, um, what can you afford, right? Um, you should probably spend no more than 30% of your salary, your take home pay, on um, renting or mortgage or those things. So you want to probably spend no more than 30%, right? That's number one. Number two, and when we talk about home ownership, we're talking about total cost of home ownership. So I've been owning a home for the past 14 or 15 years now. So what it takes to own a home, it's not just the mortgage, it's not just the taxes. It is the home maintenance, care, plumbing, electrical, appliances, the furnace, central air unit, the maintenance on all of those things, including the house itself, right? Sometimes there's things that goes on within the house. A tree goes down or a tree needs to be cut down. You have to be able to afford that. Um, so you want to be able to put a buffer out there to save a percentage of what you bring home to just support those issues with home ownership. On the other hand, with renting, you just get your renter's insurance, and the landlord covers pretty much anything that goes wrong, which is what I just talked about. Um, so you want to ask yourself, can you afford it? Are you going to stay um, in that dwelling for more than 10 years? I say 10 years for owning a home because pretty much all of the mortgage payments you make for the first about 10 years will go more to interest of that loan versus the equity that you build up in the home, right? So you want to make sure that you're going to stay there for at least 10 years to reap the benefits of the increase in the property value and those things. Versus if you're just staying somewhere in a city for a year or so, then you probably be best to rent, right? Because you're trying to sell it, you're going to try to resell that house within a year or two. You may not get any value of it. You may get less than what you paid for it to sell it back to someone else. So you want to think through those things. Let's see. So we talked about can you afford it? We talked about how long you're going to live there. And then the other determining factor is, do you have the credit? Do you have the down payment? For me, I started out with a FHA loan, Federal Housing Administration loan, where you put about 3 to 5% down. Um, and that's how I started out, right? So that means I had private mortgage insurance that I had to support because I didn't own 20%. I didn't have equity of 20% in the property, so I had to pay that private mortgage insurance until I was able to switch to a better loan, not FHA, and came out of that private mortgage insurance, right? So that's something that I did. Um, so you at least have to have 20% down so you don't have to pay PMI. Um, the other thing I wanted to mention is, let's say you're on the fence. You don't know whether you want to rent, you don't know whether you want to own. There are a couple of things that people did not tell me. You can rent, and how about the amount that you would pay for that mortgage and all of the ancillary things that you have to pay for. Let's say you take that 30%, and let's just say the total cost of ownership, home ownership, was $3,000, and your rent today is $2,000. Let's say you put away that difference. You save that $1,000 in a high yield savings account or wherever you want to put it. to see if you can cover that money for about a year or so. Try it out to see if you can save that money. Then you probably will be comfortable with making a move to home ownership if you met all those other factors that I just talked about, right? The other thing you can do is stay where you are, right? If you're a renter, stay renting, and put that difference away. There is a REIT investment. So if you have a brokerage account, you can look up real estate investment trust, where and that's basically like a stock ownership in securities that's backed by housing, right? They have properties out there in this real estate investment trust where you can reap the benefits of home ownership and not actually own a home. Okay, so look into that. You probably can add that to your brokerage account, take that difference and maybe invest it in there. You may reap benefits that way. So I just wanted to kind of give you the kind of rundown. And one of the other things that folks do not mention is if you have a 401k and you're a first time home buyer, you can borrow from your 401k to purchase your primary residence. Folks do not know that, but that is a loan that you can pay back to yourself over years time, and you can borrow for your home as well. So I wanted to mention that too. So let me know what you think. It's not a right or wrong answer, right? Renting or home ownership, but I just wanted to lay out some of the factors around that, and wanted you to think through it and run your calculations before you rent or before you buy, to know what you're getting into. All right. A lot of stuff is online, so you can look it up, but take a look at the things that I've talked about and see what fits you best. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.